I mentioned in last week's Torah portion something happened that never happened before and never will happen again, which is that there was a call put out for donations and the people gave more and more until somebody actually said, "Stop, we don't need enough." That will never happen again. We need your donations. The Jewish people are a strange people. We are, according to our stories, a giving people so much. When the Mishkan was called for, we gave gold and silver and copper and threads and all sorts of materials. But the same thing happened the week before when there was the sin of the golden calf. A charitable reading of Aaron says that the people were anxious. They turned to him and he said, "I don't want to make an actual God, but let me stall for a little while and I'll make a calf and it'll sort of be a stand-in." And he said to the people, "Take off your earrings and your nose rings." By the way, that tells you that long ago, the Jewish people had nose rings. That was just for parents of teenagers. Hey, you should know there are worse things. The Israelites had them. And in the very next verse, it says the people took off their earrings and nose rings and they gave them to Aaron. There was no hesitation. And then out came a calf. The Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs has a beautiful teaching about this. He brings the Yerushalmi Shekalim, where there's a passage in rabbinic literature that says, one cannot understand the nature of this people. They give for a mishkan and they give for a calf. They just keep giving no matter what. Maimonides says in the Middle Ages, quote, "We've never seen or heard of a Jewish community that didn't have a tzedakah fund." It is woven into the fabric of the Jewish people. So much so that Maimonides says in another place that if there is somebody in the community who doesn't give, it is grounds for suspicion of that person's Jewish lineage. And that's not saying something about genetics. It's saying something about the very meaning of what it means to be Jewish, that to be Jewish, we know, is to tell the story, I came out of Egypt, and to be Jewish is to give to the community. And that refusing to give in some way is separating yourself from that story, from that essence. Rabbi Sachs brings a wonderful teaching from the geography of the land of Israel. The Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea are both fed by one river, by the Jordan River. The Sea of Galilee receives the water of the Golden River in the north, and then in the south, it gives the water, the water of the Jordan River, what's left of it after Israel gets all of its drinking water, to the Dead Sea. But the Dead Sea only receives the water and doesn't give any. And he says that the geography is telling you that one who only receives and doesn't give, that's the Dead Sea. It is separating oneself from life itself. We honor this morning the members of our Chevra Kaddisha. They are involved in many mitzvot, all of which our tradition calls a chesed shel emet, an act of loving kindness, a true act of loving kindness. Many things that we do for other people in this world, we do for them with inevitably a little tinge of self-interest. Maybe they will do it for me in return. But the Chevra Kaddisha does acts of loving kindness for those who have died and can never repay. those acts of goodness. I think about those actions as in some ways the opposite of the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea only receives. The Chevra Kaddisha only gives. It is holy society of life itself. We have so much gratitude. So much gratitude on behalf of those who are gone, for the two Davids, for Sally and Shula, and for all of you who are gathered here, who have done this work with no hope for repayment, with no hope for anything except to participate in an act of goodness. And we are grateful to Eric and to Ted and to Libby and to all those who do these acts in secret. I'll tell you one more action of goodness. We're going to go in a few minutes after Musaf, okay? But we're going to eat. We're going to eat. And the challah that we're going to eat was baked specially today. It's not from the JCC. It's from someone's home in our community who keeps kosher and said, I want to make this challah, and they make a pretty good challah, and I do it with only love, and I don't need to be known who I am, but I want the community to be nourished by the work of my hands. And it's a very fitting thing for us to enjoy on the Chevra Kaddisha Shabbat. I pray that all of us seek out more and more opportunities to give of our resources and to give of ourselves. And in doing so, to come closer to the very essence of life itself. Shabbat Shalom. We call for